Hello, Shelley here from Spin Cushions, and today I'm going to show you how to make this square that I'm going to mispronounce, I am certain. I'm just going to call it Okhotsk. It's a Scandinavian sea, I think, from memory. So I'm not going to say it again, but I think it's pretty cool. Large centre, puffy flower, framed by a neutral outside. I'm going to make mine all in one colour, and I will tell you if you need to do anything different. If you are changing colours. So we're going to start with a magic circle, or you can do some chain and join it into a loop if you prefer. And we're going to chain one, and that chain one doesn't count in our stitch count, it just makes it easier to work into the next stitch when we're joining up. We're going to do 8 double crochets UK or single crochets US in our loop. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, we'll pull our loop tight and join up with a slip stitch to your first stitch. Tail out of the way. Alright, slip stitch. Okay, now next round is all double crochets UK, single crochets US. We start with one in the same place we joined our slip stitch, and then we do another one in that same place, and we do 2 in every stitch around, so we're going to have 16 stitches at the end of this round. So I will do that and then show you what's next. Okay, 16 stitches done. We'll just join with a slip stitch to our first stitch, which is here. Now, same stitches again this round. Start off by doing 2 in the same place as our slip stitch. And then we do 1 in the next stitch, which is kind of hidden under there. 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next stitch. So we're alternating 2 stitches, 1 stitch all the way around. So this time we'll end up with 24 stitches. So I will do that and show you what's next. Alright, 24 stitches done. Join with a slip stitch to your first stitch. And we're going to start the next round the same way. So 2 stitches, double crochets UK, single crochets US in the same place that we joined with our slip stitch. Then you're going to do 1 in the next 2 stitches. So 2 single stitches. Okay, so a little repeat is 2 stitches in 1 stitch, and then 2 stitches in the next 2 stitches. So 4 stitches in total. So the first 2 go together, and 3 and 4 are on their own, by itself, by itself. So this round you'll have 32 stitches. I'll do that around and show you what's next. Alright, 32 stitches done. So now we join with a slip stitch to our first stitch. And that's the last of those kinds of rounds we're doing. Get on to making our flower section now. We're going to start with chain 3 starting chain or a false stitch. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch we're going to do a V-stitch, and a V-stitch in this case is we're made up of trebles UK, doubles US with a 1 chain space in the middle of them. So we do 1 stitch, chain 1, 1 stitch, all in the same stitch. So skip 1 stitch and a V-stitch in the next. And we do that all the way around. So I will do that and come back and show you how to finish off. Alright, I've done my V-stitches all the way around. I'm just up to skipping 1 stitch and doing a stitch in the same place as our first stitch, which is down here, where we slip stitch joined the last round. Now instead of joining with doing chain 1 and joining with a slip stitch, we're just going to join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. So insert your hook, pull a loop through to the front, then yarn over through 2. What that does is it puts our hook as if we're in the 1 chain space, we're right above it, we're not over the first stitch, which is where we need to be. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet UK terms or single crochet US terms over the joining stitch, so just in that hole in the middle of the V below. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch and we're going to do a spike stitch into this skipped stitch that we had down below. Then we're going to skip the next stitch and do a 1 stitch in that 1 chain space. So basically we're going to have 32 stitches. We're skipping all of the stitches. We're only working into these stitches down below and in the 1 chain spaces. So we're doing spike stitches in between the V's and double crochets UK, single crochets US in the 1 chain spaces. So it's quite a quick round. I will do that and show you how to join up. Alright, so all done. Just need to join with a slip stitch to my first stitch. Alright, now this round there's going to be a lot of stitches, 96 stitches and 32 1 chain spaces, and it's going to be quite ruffled, but don't worry about it because the next round will make it nice and flat again. So the first thing we need to do is, if you can still see your V stitches, probably not, there. The V's, we're going to be working, so there's the V stitch with a stitch in the middle. We're going to be working lots of stitches into that space. So for the very first bit we need to slip stitch down into that space. So just a slip stitch down, and then we're going to chain 3 starting chain or false stitch, and then we're going to do 4 trebles UK, doubles US in that same big hole. 1, sorry, my camera keeps going out of focus and it's making it hard for me to find the right spot. 2, 3, 4. So by slip stitching down first, it gives us the illusion that this is going to be exactly the same as all the others with 5 stitches in them. Okay, so after we've done that, we chain 1 and we do a puff stitch in the next stitch, which is the spike stitch. Now we're doing a 5 half treble UK or 5 half double US puff. So yarn over, insert your hook into your stitch, pull a loop up. We do that 5 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to pull through all of those loops. Alright, we're going to chain 1, and in this V down below we're going to do 5 stitches, 5 trebles UK, 5 doubles US. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chain 1, puff stitch. So we're doing puff stitches in the spike stitches and 5 stitches in the V's of every round of the round below. So there's going to be lots and lots of stitches. It's going to be very ruffled, but we'll magically make it all work the next round. So I'll do all that and show you what's next. Okay, so as you can see, very, very ruffled because we have way too many stitches, but the next round will make it magically all okay. So we join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, either your false stitch or your chain 3. Now, this is where the magic happens. We're going to turn all of these 5 stitch groups into popcorns in a really, really lazy way. So we start off by doing a double crochet UK, single crochet US, where we insert our hook underneath and bring it back up in the 1 chain space on the other side, and do a double crochet UK, single crochet US, and there you go, a popcorn magic. Then we're going to do a stitch in the 1 chain space, then a stitch in the puff stitch. Now it's not here, okay, that's actually the 1 chain space, it's actually here. Then we do a 1 in the 1 chain space, and then again we gather these together by poking our hook underneath them, out the 1 chain space on the other side, and do a stitch. So 1 in the space, 1 in the puff stitch, 1 in the space, and gather together. And you can see that bit that we've gathered is nice and flat, and all the rest will be magically there like that too. So I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, so there you go, magic. All I need to do now is join with a slip stitch to my first stitch and start the next round, which is very, very simple. It's double crochet UK, single crochet US in the same place as our slip stitch, and then 1 in every stitch around. So we're going to end up with 64 stitches. And the round after is actually exactly the same. So we're going to do 2 rounds like this, and I will do both of them and show you what happens after that. Okay, so I've done my 2 rounds, 64 stitches. I'm just going to join with a slip stitch to my first stitch. And now we're going to start the squaring off. So we're going to chain 3 starting chain, or false stitch, then 3 trebles UK, doubles US in the same space as our slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we're going to do a double crochet UK, single crochet US in the next 11 stitches. So 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the next one we're going to do 7 treble UK, doubles US. So 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just do the same thing again and again and again, and I'll come back and show you how to finish off. Okay, I've done all my repeats. I just need to skip 2 stitches and do 3 stitches in the same place as our first stitches. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to our first stitch, whether that's a false stitch or the 3rd chain of your starting chain. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit more square now. We're going to start with a double crochet UK, single crochet US in the same place as our slip stitch, and we're going to do the same stitch in the next 2. Then we're going to do a half treble UK, half WS in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to do a double crochet UK, single crochet US in the next 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a half treble UK, half WS in the next 2, and then a WK single US in the next 2, and the next stitch is going to be our corner, which will be the 4th stitch of our 7 treble group. Chain 1, stitch, chain 2, and a stitch. So that's our repeats. We do that all the way around, and I'll show you what happens next. Okay, I've been all the way around. I just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first stitch. And then if you're changing colours, chain 2, join with a slip stitch. If you're not changing colours, chain 1. And if you're not used to, don't really understand what I do in the corners, pop a scrap of yarn in because it'll help you show where your stitches need to go. And join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US to your first stitch. And that puts us as if we're in the middle of a 2 chain space instead of at the start of the next round, just first stitch. So now we're going to do a double crochet UK, single crochet US over the joining stitch where that stitch marker is, and then 1 in every stitch along the side, and there should be 19 stitches along the side. And in each corner, do the same as we did last time, a stitch, chain 2 and a stitch. So I will do that all the way around and show you how to finish off. Okay, stitches all the way around. Now I just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first stitch, which is where that scrap of yarn is. Makes it nice and easy to find. And we're going to chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to our first stitch because that is the last round of this square. So there we have it. Okhotsk, whatever it is, I can't say it. Hopefully somebody will tell me the correct pronunciation. So it will benefit from a quick block because we have so many small stitches in it. Much the same size in Bendigo Wool and Mills cotton as Cascade Ultra Pima cotton. But yeah, a lot of fun, I think. A bit different and a nice solid block. So I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget to check out spincushions.com for more crochet fun. Thanks. Bye.